Peace, loves. Welcome to the U.N.I verse podcast, where we explore the mysteries of existence. I'm the ever-radiant Venus, Agoddess, your guide on this cosmic journey.
And I'm Blek, tagging along with Venus to share in the wonderment of the universe with you.
Join us as we dive deep into the realms of self-mastery and esoteric wisdom.
From unlocking the secrets of consciousness to unraveling the interconnectedness of all things, every episode is a voyage of discovery.
So, come along, dear listeners, and let the Universe Podcast be your companion on the path to enlightenment.
Yeah, so subscribe now and let us embark on this cosmic odyssey together. Yeah, U.N.I verse podcast. We out.
Let's go.
Welcome to the U.N.I verse podcast. I am your host, Blek. And of course, I'm always with the lovely, vibrant Venus, a goddess.
Peace.
How you doing?
With those peace. Absolutely
Yes.
Amazing. Excited.
Yeah, I'm excited as well. And guess what? This has been, I don't want to say, it has been a long time coming, I guess, right?
It has. It absolutely has.
And we've been working diligently behind the scenes and getting everything up and ready. And guess what? It's been a little headache. But guess what? We here now. We here.
No headaches. Listen, if y'all have seen the bloopers, side note.
Man,
we post the bloopers. It's been a fun and engaging process. But this is all because of our passion to continually share wisdom, knowledge, incorporated with some of our perspectives and our experiences. Yes. But in these days and times, it is so imperative for us to add to all of us who are on the path of bringing enlightenment, right? And the things that I'm saying, don't worry about it, okay? Hold on. We're going to be getting into all of those with future episodes to come. Just giving you a little snippet.
Absolutely. We have so much to cover in the first season of the U.N.I verse podcast. I'm very excited about it because for those that know me, know that the things that we will be covering in the first season is near and dear to my heart as far as the information wise. These are the type of conversations that I love to have. And between me and Venus, I know that we will bring some dynamic information. The content is going to be spectacular. I'm going to make sure of that. I know the Queen's going to bring, she's going to bring nothing but fire. And for me, you can expect nothing less. So with that being said, the very first season, I know we're going to get into all things self-mastery, and I want to give a huge, I need the applause button for this because the Queen is bringing all things self-mastery. You gonna bring it yourself? You gonna bring it yourself? That's what we doing? Okay, that's what we doing. All right, but nah, I know she's gonna bring the fire with that, and I'm looking forward towards learning these things as well as teaching. Me and Venus, we always have conversations about just recently as a couple of days ago about being the student and the teacher, and and humbly I could say that I can teach, but also I'm prepared to be the student. You know what I mean? So I can sit down and, shut my mouth sometimes. Sometimes I can do that. You know what I mean?
Listen,
but
we all have to do that, right? We all have to do that. And you're absolutely right. Which is one of the reasons why we collaborated. I am a type of person, and we'll get into sharing a little bit about each other because this is our first time meeting. Hey fam, hey, welcome to the U.N.I verse. Okay,
yes, ma'am.
U.N.I verse. So before we get into that, it's important for us to be very intentional about who we collab with. And Blek is a being, a soul, a person that I absolutely respect. We share a lot of the same concepts, the same studies, the philosophies and different things like that. And when two or more are gathered, baby, okay, we can pack a mighty blow, right?
You already know.
We're doing individual things that we're going to mention. However, let's get into a little bit about who we are, so you can get a little brief rundown as we welcome you into the family, because that's important, right? Because we're not just, you need to know who you're talking to, and you definitely need to be mindful of what you're consuming, because whatever you consume, you become. And so we just want to formally invite you into U.N.I verse and into our personal world.
Matter of fact, let's get into that. U.N.I verse. Because I know a lot of people are going to look at that and say, what does that mean? And U.N.I verse is a concept that the Queen actually pitched to me. And I said, you know what? That's it. So it's a conversation. It's like U.N.I verse. You and I have so basically that's what it is. It's a conversation, but it's an invite into our world, into your world. And I thought it was so dope when she said it that I said, we got to run with that. So if you want to explain a little bit about the concept with that as well. As I take a
absolutely. Before I get into that, and we're gonna pull up a slide just so we might pull up a slide. But before, real brief, my name is Venus. I branded the name Venus Agoddess. My name is Venus. It is a pleasure and an honor to meet all of you. I am a self-mastery mentor and solutionist, right? I've been teaching all things self-mastery for more than 15 plus years. And what that initially means, what it entails, is that I teach individuals in a group level, right, as well as personal one-to-one, on how to rediscover the core and catalyst why in the areas of our mind, our mental, spiritual, physical, emotional, energy and motion, and sometimes financial, because, even though it's fiat, you know what I'm saying? Everything is energy. And so I like to guide individuals to point out and to be self-aware of their patterns, because my concept and philosophy within all the studies that I've done for these 15 plus years, I came to the conclusion that until we understand the core reason why, and I'm not just talking about superficial surface level stuff, I'm talking about deep stuff, right? Metaphysical stuff, what we're going to get into, you're not going to change your life. And I know a lot of us we're hurting, we're desperate, we're hopeless, we're just, we feel that there is no bright light, there's no silver lining. We're frustrated. Many of us are borderline suicidal. Some of us are actually taking that leap because some of us are in such a dark place. The only thing we know that is going to remedy that is by disappearing from off this planet. And so as long as we have voices, contrary to popular belief, we are going to see something, hear something, say something. We're not just going to sit idly by anymore, pulling out our phones, just recording the destruction of people, because we are one with each other. Hence, U.N.I verse. This is our multiverse. This is our universe. And so, when we came up with the name, I was like, oh, that's a nice play on it, because verse means like we're conversating, like we're engaging. And so that's important. So I absolutely have expertise in this area. And I've studied psychology, I've studied chemistry, I've studied biology, all the things that have to do with our essence. I studied metaphysics and is still studying, right? Chemistry, all of these different things, quantum physics, genetics, extraterrestrial things. All of these things have to do with us and have to do with why so many of us are lost, broken.
Absolutely. And I second, absolutely. And I second everything you said. A lot of things that she hit on, I was like, that's why I let her speak. Cause I said, you know what, because I don't, cause you said exactly, the thing, only thing that I haven't done that the Queen has done is mentor people. And I have in a way, but not professionally. Let me say that. But yes, a student of metaphysics for over 20 years. I've been on this path, and it's something that it hasn't been easy, because anybody knows that when you go through this, one thing that I found out about this path is that a lot of people that end up going through this path is it's a lot of pain there, it's a lot of trauma there, And a lot of times that pain, that trauma, it forces you to ask the questions, why? Why me? Why am I going through this? My family. So I noticed that this path has a lot of broken people, but also those that are somewhat, in some way, are the light bearers. And what I mean by that is the ones that continue, even though through our struggles, we are the ones that want to bring light to the world. And I get that, because a lot of us, by us going through things, we have an understanding of what pain is. We have so with that, it's like, with me personally, me going through so much in my life, that I've realized that first of all, it forced you to understand that you're not alone, So by me not being alone with that, it made me want to share my story, and you will hear a lot of it in this first season. And I guess you will have a great understanding of why and what makes me tick personally. But I look forward towards, sharing my story, sharing my thoughts, sharing a lot of the things that I've learned. But I'm a practitioner in metaphysics, studied under some great people, and I hope to bring them on the show one day. Also,
and we will.
I know we will. I just don't want to say any names right now. I want y'all to be surprised, like, damn, they got them. Yeah. So, but it's a lot that we're going to cover this season. Everything, like she stated, from metaphysics to spirituality, ancient Cometian science, all things self-mastery, of course, and a lot of other things we're going to be bringing. It's a lot.
Which is a relative new term too. Like, when I hear people say, Blek, like, oh, you got to learn to master self. And meanwhile, I think it's absolutely wonderful, right? However, it's a relatively new term, right? Not for many of us though, right? But it's a relatively new term. And so many individuals are still, or haven't yet came across what self-mastery and mastering self truly is. And today we have misguidance, misrepresented information. We still have a lot of disingenuous, false, right? Information, propaganda, dogma, including man-made religions that have been twisted and turned to the patriarchal society's benefit. And so with this polarized information, right, misguided information, a lot of our babies are coming up into the dysfunction, because a lot of us are just in this echo chamber and we're just repeating things that we've heard or things that we've been programmed to think and then regurgitate. And that's not helpful, right? And we're definitely not living in those times. Most of us know we're in the age of Aquarius. Everybody getting the smoke. That means the truth, divine truth, is being exposed and polarized. And those of us who are on this path, this is exactly the place for you to be. Because if you are a person that wants better, if you are a person that wants to reshape your reality, if you are a person that wants wealth, wants health, wants more beautiful, beneficial opportunities, if you want more for your family, if you just want to expand and ascend, if you want to leave legacy, right? Divine legacy, self-mastery is where you start, right? And
so you got to start with self.
Yeah, you have to start with self. And I understand that this path is not for everybody, but it is so much negativity in the context of what I speak, meaning low vibrational signals and frequencies going on. And too many of us are being warped up in it. And so this podcast, U.N.I verse, is going to fulfill the gap between all of those misnomers, right? All of those quote unquote, this is the truth, when it really ain't.
Right. And like you said, you got to start with self. And I think by walking this path, and like she said, this is not going to be for everybody. The information for a lot of people may tend to be heavy. It may be too deep for some, and that's fine because look, this is going to be some deep water to be diving into, to be honest.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? But for some of those, it's going to be just right, and it's going to be the temperature of the room is going to be just right, and you're going to find a home here. And that's what we want to do. Invite you in, come have a conversation with us, and we're going to, if you don't know, look, don't be afraid to ask questions. I know the information we're going to get to from episode to episode is going to be leading into enlightenment. It's going to be leading into a life of freedom, actually. You know what I mean? Spiritual-wise, physically, mentally, emotionally. So it will be some conversations that is going to get, it's going to get heavy. And but I welcome it. You know what I mean? And another thing, some of the guests we're going to bring on, I know they're going to be bringing a lot of great information, a great teachings, and great enlightenment. You know, so that's the only thing I can hope and ask for. Only thing that I can do is do my part and make sure that the information is being facilitated in a great way. But let's get into some of the things that we're going to be bringing. I know we have a slide that's going to help us, get through this. Let's get it.
Ashe. You know, and the Hermetic principles state that from lip to ear, the truth have always been handed down amongst a few, and we understand that. So we get that, it's not going to be for everybody. However, it is for a lot of people, because a lot of us are waking up. I think it's on your side where you can pull up the slide.
Okay, I would do that. My fault. Yeah,
so
absolutely right.
Yeah, and it's let's go to the next one.
All right.
This is just a short synopsis of what U.N.I verse stand for. This is what you will call our personality, our character, our demeanor, our persona, the frequency that even we hold. We are going to be held accountable for operating in and through this, right? And so the U.N.I verse podcast, our philosophy is light, pure and simple. We operate with love. We operate with integrity. We operate with gratitude, honor, and truth. I'll put divine truth in that.
Absolutely.
This is what we are about.
Absolutely. So, Universe Podcast, we don't just scratch the surface. We plunge into the depths of spirituality, self-discovery, and the universal secrets. It's a place where humor dances with intelligence, with playful meets profound insight. So, my insights in Venus Soul Stirring Revelations is going to pretty much take you on this ride. And that's what we hope to give you some excitement, because I don't want to just come off, or I know Venus don't want to come off as just preachy. We want to have fun with this because, like I said earlier, the information could be a little heavy, so, but we want you to walk away from each episode with an understanding and a will and a want to come back, So that's what we're going to be bringing,
Listen, and it's all about energy, which we will be going into depths about. Like, everything is energy, everything is frequency. Humor is beautiful, right?
Yes,
laughter is beautiful. Like, if you really,
and I can't wait till people really get to understand our personalities, because
it's fun. Like, if you can't laugh, baby, you doing something. That if you're not laughing a lot, if you're not humorous, if you for sure ain't laughing with yourself,
exactly,
because of yourself, sometimes you're missing and you're missing out on one of the most profound opportunities to attract what and who you desire.
Exactly.
Laughter,
and that's,
especially when it's in righteousness, it creates this vortex. It amplifies your vortex of bringing into your reality all things that's great. So when Blek said we gonna dive deep, it's gonna be deep, but it's also gonna be fun.
Exactly. Because a lot of people, like you said, life is already heavy enough, you know what I mean? But we are here to learn, but that does not mean that it cannot be fun at the same time. So that's what we want to do. We want to bring some enlightenment, but we want to bring joy as well. So
I
I'm
say,
so
if your panties too tight, honey, go up a size because you're definitely gonna need some space. You're gonna
number
need a little bit of space.
yeah. So it's like a lot of things that even like I said, when we sat down and said we wanted to do this, it's things that I wanted to learn myself. So I'm always in student mode. So with this, it's like, hey, we know we got to bring the information. So even with myself, I said, I got to go back to the drawing board. You know what I mean? Like I said, been on this path for over 20 years, but that doesn't mean I don't want to sharpen up my tools. So with this, it's going to allow me to do just that. And, so when I take y'all on this ride and I start speaking my speak, talking my talk, giving y'all what I know I can give, oh, buckle up. It's going to get real. But we want to get into so many different things. And I know for me, because I know one of the buzzwords out there is like the law of attraction. It's like that's real heavy right now. And that was one of the things I want to dive into, understanding how to manifest your reality. So those type of things we're going to be teaching. But we also understand that it's a lot of work that needs to be done. So therefore, I know we're going to get into shadow work. You know what I mean? So we're going to definitely dive into that. And it's a lot of people that's going through different things. Like I'm deaf in the family, so we're going to try to help you guys with coping, grieving and how to cope. Understanding that a lot of people are going through breakups because, like I said, especially in this time, like I said, what Venus said about being in the age of Aquarius, it's about now we're in the age of knowing, and a lot of revelations will be shown, and the veil is slowly but surely lifting. So it's about getting an understanding of how to deal with a lot of things that previously we weren't able to comprehend. So a lot of these things that we're going to get into is going to lead you to a greater understanding of how to actually go through these things without it being damaging, without it causing trauma. Because with having an understanding and having knowledge of these things, now you can better prepare yourself or better get through these things. You know what I mean? So
I think, and it's all necessary. And you know what? These are a lot of the things that we're going to be, that you can expect from us, right? On the path of soul self-mastery, we're going to be giving you the tips and the tools and the information, not only from us, but the guests, with the professional guests, and from, just from the community, hearing about us. Yeah, we're going to be calling in individuals who are masters and philosophers in their right within their studies, but we're also going to be including our community because we are one, right? And we can always learn from each other, right? Even if it's from some pitfalls, we can always learn from one another. And this is about true community building. This is about healthy building. And so this is about getting to the core of things, because it's time out. Not only are we in the realm of the Aquarius where everything is being, where information, divine, righteous information is being unveiled and uncovered, we also are in the cycle of exposure. All unrighteous systems, people, places, and things, activities, choices, everything is being exposed. And what I've gathered is that the universe or God concept, whatever you choose to accept and follow, it doesn't matter as much as the universal laws and principles applying to us all. You are going to get what you give. And in this cycle that we're in right now, everything is being expedited, speeded up.
Exactly.
So this is one of the most important reasons why we decided to do this, because a lot of us lack the understanding that we need. I'm not speaking for the ones who willingly want to continually be ignorant, deaf, dumb, blind, and docile. I'm speaking to the ones who have a deep yearning and longing. It's like, you know what? Something ain't right. Something ain't lining up, right? Because I'm insane, right? Let's be honest. Most of us are insane. Isn't that the quote unquote definition of doing shit the same way, the same
over and over again?
over and over, just like that hamster on that wheel, over and over, going nowhere real fast, right? And so we want to unsane.
We want to unsane you. That's enough. But now but but absolutely though, and I think that's the a part of the healing process is recognizing that something ain't right, and sometimes something ain't right with us. You know what I mean? So by us being on that hamster wheel, and you keep bumping your head, so to speak, at some point you're going to wake up and realize, like, I can't keep living like this. I can't keep making these same decisions. Another thing that I want to get into that kind of speaks to this is that sometimes the people that we allow into our life is that you ever notice sometimes, I know this happens because I see it all the time with women, and I'm not saying with men this doesn't happen,
listen now, please. We was on the road.
Listen. What I'm saying is, you know how we invite the same type of people over and over again, you know, as far as relationships, stuff like that. It's like,
okay, I get all that, okay, but we gonna call it out with this. You said especially in women, don't single out. I'm
not. You know, look. You know, I'm not doing that. I'm just saying.
Don't worry,
this is from.
I got y'all.
Look, Big V. We
not
always. Nah, it's just something that I recognize that I see. You know, I pay attention to women, so I see it, and it's like, well, here's the thing.
Men and women.
No, for sure. I'm just saying, like, we see that, and it's like, here's something. Maybe this is something that we need to correct that's in us. That if the same type of people keep showing up in our life, and we keep putting ourselves through this cycle over and over again, at some point in time, we got to say, all right, what choices am I making that keeps bringing this result? And that's all we're trying to get to, whether it's relationships, whether it's people, whether it's a job. You keep choosing the same type of job over and over again. You keep, you know, those type of things. I'm just saying, whatever it is, I was trying to make it relatable to sometimes we choose the same cycles over and over again.
It's having,
you know what I mean?
Pattern recognition, right?
Exactly.
And this is where you get into, this is where we're going to be diving a little deeper into psychology, spirituality, chemistry, biology, energy, frequency, right? Universal laws and principles, right? Attraction, manifestation, and so much more. You know, and we even gonna be discussing, you know, hot topics. What's going on?
Yeah, matter of fact,
media streets?
Matter of fact, Venus, can you get into that? Because we, you know, we're preparing for the show. She came up with something awesome. I said, that's it. We're gonna do that. The PSA
announcement, public service announcement only. We are going to be sharing our perspectives on social affairs.
There you go. So the PSA is going to be perspective on social affairs, which is pretty much going to be a segment within Universe Podcast. So from time to time, when there is a hot button topic that's going on in these streets, we're going to jump right up on here on this live and deliver from a higher perspective. You know what I mean?
There's a lot of invaluable lessons we can learn, right? If these individuals have made a conscious decision or unconscious decision, however, when it's out there, it's out there. And we can learn from the experiences of others. And so if you put your business, if you allow everybody into your shower, right, and into your bed, guess what? We gonna jump on in respectfully over here. However, we're not gonna come from an approach of being messy, shaming.
It's not about condemning. It's about condemning.
Defeminizing. We're not coming from that way. Yeah, in most cases, we're speaking to the behaviors that are being manifested, right? Because, you know, to each is her own, right? I know in most cases, when I cover certain topics, I'm not speaking to the individual. I'm speaking to the behavior. It's just the display and the person attached to these acts. Yeah, that's pretty evident, right? And so, of course, so we're going to be discussing and sharing a higher perspective, because there's a lot to learn. There's a lot to be learned, right? Especially when you're coming from a place of righteousness, right? And I always say there's a difference between knowing something, speaking something, and actually doing something, right? And just because you have a mouse box don't mean that you should be on it. Just because you have a microphone don't mean that you should have a podcast, because a lot of us are feeding the same beast that we seek to destroy. Understand that on so many different levels. We speak about destroying these systems. We speak about destroying of these narratives, right? We speak about not warring against each other, but yet a lot of us are doing the very same thing. And
Right.
so
And
when we
speaking of
talk
which, I
about
don't mean to,
accountability,
yeah, absolutely. And speaking of which, I ain't mean to cut you off, Queen, is that
you could love.
nah, it's just that that's another reason why we wanted to do this podcast too, is because we recognize that it's a lot of I guess you can call it a spiritual poison that's being poured into the ears of our people right now, because it's like a lot of regurgitated, self-hate, and it's like people are taking it and they running with it, and it's being posted all over social media. We're waking up to it. First thing we do is open up our phones, and that's what, upon wakening, that's what is entering our world. And I recognize that, because who's not guilty of waking up, picking up their phone, and going about their day. And we're, so that's another reason why we want to do this, is to kind of counter that type of narrative that's going on, and speak onto something that's more positive, at least give you some information to help you combat it in your own life from day to day. So a lot of times people are just being so misled with the information that's being spread out there. And what we want to do when we talk about breaking down some of the hot topics, so to speak, is to break it down in a way that it'll give you a different understanding and a different perspective of why that is going on. Like she said, is to break down not the person, but the behavior of that person.
Right.
And to give you
Because
maybe
it's all
why.
about, it's all about the psychological aspects of it. Why do you keep repeating the same unhealthy behaviors? Why are these people, why are we making the decisions that we're making? Is something more deeper. I understand what that deeper is. Hence, I've been teaching individuals who chose me to help guide them in their life on doing just that. Recognizing pattern recognition, understanding what mental programming, mental conditioning is. And so you can reprogram that. Just like I said, there's a difference in knowing something, speaking something, and actually doing something. When you do not know when you don't know all of the ins and outs, and you haven't done the necessary due diligence in studying not only how to be a doctor, if that's your chosen desired profession, and you have not practiced, don't you dare call yourself a doctor. And don't you dare call yourself operating on individuals. And that's what we're seeing now. We're seeing and hearing and witnessing a lot of unqualified individuals in so many different areas operate on individuals. And to be transparently honest, I do know that some of them have really good intentions. However, just because you have good intentions doesn't mean that you're not still poisoning someone. You're still not slicing them open and hitting arteries, okay, that can put them in further destruction or unalive them spiritually and mentally. And it's high time we come out of these things, right? If we're going to elevate, and if we're going to ascend, if we're actually going to stand in a position of gods and goddess, kings and queens, divine beings, whatever you choose to accept, it's higher time we start taking accountability as to what and who and why we're consuming what we're consuming. So if you don't know, you don't know. But if you don't know, sit down somewhere. I'm talking about for the ones who are continually slicing people open, and you don't have the qualifications or the years of expertise and practices to do so. Right? Because we're hurting each other by doing that.
I think we just went through, in my mind, some sort of vortex with that, because we seen a lot of people that was teaching just, let's say, a short decade ago. And it's like, where are they? It's like, where are they, right? And I sat back, and I think we always kind of open to the moment as it was happening, and it was like, okay, this is a good thing. But then as it kept transpiring, and you started to realize a lot of people was falling by the wayside by their own, like self-destruction. Exactly. And it's like, it was eye-opening to me, And that's another reason why, when me and Venus said we're going to do this, that we made sure that we was doing this in the name, like you said, love, integrity, honor, and truth, because we understand that, hey, it can happen. If you ain't stepping up to this plate with the right intentions, understand what can happen, and we understand that. That's why we take it on full speed, like, let's go. We know, what I mean? So that's basically for anybody that want to question our intentions with this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Understand that we understand karmic debt. We understand universal law. So we not stepping with this. So even with that being said, that's why we can say it. That's why we can say it. And we can say it just like this, is because we understand that. So for us to understand that and then play with it, like, come on now. Look, I'm not playing like that.
What they say, we gonna play with it, you go around and find out. And a lot of us done around, and now we finding out that we didn't want the problems.
Nah, a lot of us not. Yeah, and it's
around and found out, and when you're prepared, you can avoid certain things.
Right.
And I don't know anyone in their right mind.
They not in their right mind.
When it's coming, they take out their summer clothes.
Exactly.
I mean, unless you like all the way confused, which that's okay. But if you're in your right mind, if you know, just as the seasons move in through and out of each other, and you know when winter coming, when spring coming, when fall coming, right? When summer, know that. And so
you prepare for it.
Yeah, we're so prepared for so many things outside of what's going on in here. Because nothing happens externally before it happens internally. And so when you're seeing your life crumble, when you're looking at the receipts of your life, like, well, what the hell was going on? Because you can keep lying to everybody else if you want to, honey. Some of us can see the truth, wink, wink, wink. But you alone, when you look in that mirror and you sleeping alone and you have to face yourself, you know the truth. You know the truth. And so the deeper understanding of, listen, as divine organisms, your first priority is to expand. And if you're not expanding, guess what? You're self-destructing. And this is what we're seeing polarized. It don't have to be you no more. You can choose to do something different. Right?
Absolutely.
And you paying attention and what you're consuming, right? Can start to reverse that dysfunctional road and path that you're on. So when we talk about, we're going to be having panel discussions with the community, professionals, in many different areas from, credit, business, economics, science, and so much more, right? Diving deep into universal principles and laws as they pertain to us. All of these different things are so imperative. They're vital.
Absolutely. Getting into
what this is about.
Absolutely. And getting into attraction and manifestation, even with what you were saying, is like the things that you prepare for. You prepare for the things you want to attract. You know what I mean? So with that, also, what else we got going on? Let me go to the next one. Because, let me see.
And we spoke about this, the reasons.
Right.
What is that reason?
Absolutely. So the reasons why we got into doing this, a lot of us don't remember who we are. Many of us still are suffering from drug addiction. A lot of us is still suffering from sex addiction. A lot of us are still suffering from trauma from childhood, molestation. Some of us are suffering from, being raped. Some of us are suffering from our parents being addicted to drugs, stuff like that. And, so we want to get into all those type of things, try to help you navigate through that and, understand that a lot of these things was, of course, wasn't our fault. Me, myself, bearing through some of those things, I had to come to a realization that a lot of these things was definitely wasn't my fault, because sometimes we harbor those things and you tend to wear that as unworthiness. You know what I mean? So, and so those type of things that we're going to help you get through. And it's not to say that me or Venus still don't at some point in time still suffer from these things, but it's because that we do, or we have been through similar things that you all have, is the reason why we can speak from experience and say, listen, if I can get to this point where I can walk with my head up high, walk with a certain understanding, and be able to still have the confidence to go through life and still want to achieve things and still be a great parent and still be a great person without trying to now inflict harm on others because it was once inflicted on me, or want to cause trauma to others because my life was traumatic. I think, so that's what I want to speak from. Those are things that I want to teach on. Those, and that's what's leading me to want to do this. You understand? So, yeah, I don't know if you want to add something.
It's for all. It's for all. However, at the same time, it's not for all, right? And this is, and understand what I say. There's always a flip side. There's always duality. It is literally impossible for you to separate yourself from yourself, right? And these are some of the things we're going to get into. So this message, right? This U.N.I Verse podcast was created for men and women, all who are willing to connect themselves with other light and like-minded individuals who are on this path and journey to self-mastery, right? And self-discovery, right? All of these different things. It's imperative. However, I would be remiss if I didn't let you know that the core of our message and our teachings and all that we're doing is for the newly awakened, right? Because we can converse with each other, right? But I would be a foolish, wise woman with all that I have, right? The knowledge, the wisdom, the expertise, to be only speaking to individuals who understand and already know the things that I know, right? I want to speak to the me's that didn't know, that was on this journey.
The U.N.I family,
because
pretty much.
I have me in my life. And even though many of us, including myself, including Blek, don't regret our path, however, with all of the intricacies, right? Because there's infinite levels within infinite levels, right? And we'll be here until the next century, not tomorrow, the next century, if we were to dive deep into all of these different aspects.
Oh, yeah.
To narrow that down, it is so imperative for us to inform, right? The men and women and the young people, the next generations that is coming up beneath us, because there are not many who are willing to speak and tell the undesirable truth.
Exactly. This is for those who need guidance and want guidance. Is not afraid to say, hey, I want to learn that. How did you do that? How did you get there? This is what I went through. This, so we're going to do a lot of mentoring and things like that for those who went through similar things. And a lot of times people, that's all they're looking for is a little guidance, a little bit of information of how to get to the next level. You know what I mean? So like she said, this is not for those, because look, let me give you a little background real quick, because me and Venus had this conversation like last week, I believe. And it's like, it's going to be plenty of people who's going to be like, oh yeah, I like the Universe podcast, but they ain't saying nothing that I don't already know. Yeah, well, it's not for you. You know what I mean? Plain and simple. If you already know this, it's not for you. You know what I'm saying? It's not for you. This is for those who are looking and trying to search for, for a higher level. Because just like I said to Venus the other day, it's like, I know that I'm still a student because I'm still willing to learn. So I will bring on people that I feel is above me or ahead of me, I should say, on this path. Because that's the thing. If you're on this path, some people may be just a little bit more, in front of you, and it's people that's like behind me that I'm willing to, pull up. Right. And guess what? Some of the people that tomorrow we are teaching, in a few years you may be teaching us. It just sometimes that's how life works.
And I'm not, in different areas, right? I'm not trying to finesse every single lane. Like, even though I can drive in many of them, we have different expertise. I'm not an expert in, like, let's say religion, right? As far as like reading ancient texts and having to read all of the different stories, the Sumerian text, right? All the books that predates the Book of the Dead, all of the all of the what do they call it? That just slipped my mind. However, I'm not a master in all of those areas. That's not my lane to teach you in depth about the religion and all of the aspects of it, because that's just not my area, and it's not going to be my area. However, when it comes to this thing called self-mastery, mastering self, right? Psychologically, mentally, all of these different things, now that's my area. Metaphysics, my area. Spirituality, that's my area. So it's important that we collab with one another. Can I teach somebody about no, I wouldn't even step foot in that arena. However, when it comes to, why do I do this, Venus? Why do I keep doing this? Oh yeah, I can help you. I can assist you. And it can make sense. And because we all have internal, ancient wisdom within us. It's just locked up for many of us. Because we haven't raised our frequency and vibration to even tap into this ancient knowledge and wisdom. And so because we are reflections of each other, I'm just reminding you of what's most important, what you actually came here for. You can take it how you take it. However, what I can guarantee is that a lot of these things we're going to be speaking about, it's going to hit you a different way, and it is going to make sense.
Oh, for sure.
Okay.
And for sure. And guess what? I can't wait because I know we have, we're going to start off with a dynamic. This is pretty much just like an introductory show, but our very first episode, we're going to really get into the foundation of self-mastery. And by starting with, because that's the thing, we really want to take you on this journey, and we need to lay a firm foundation. So from that foundation, you can start to, build or rebuild your life and have a greater understanding of who we are, what you are, and where we're going. But so the first episode, I believe we're going to do that on March 2nd.
Yeah, we're going to be our very first episode is going to be we're going to be just giving a synopsis and talking about self-mastery, soul mastery, all things self-mastery, and how it's invaluable to everything that you are doing, this new journey that you're walking into, what you do now and what you do tomorrow. And we are set for that March 2nd. And so we are going to be coming before you every Saturday, unless we have something going on, in which, if you follow our platforms, by the way, the only way you can do that is by making sure you subscribe, honey. Make sure you subscribe. It's absolutely free. Just go ahead and click that button, and just make sure it automatically goes to that little bell. So whenever we come before you or give out a message, you hear that little ting-a-ling-a-ling. It is time. Make sure you feed it yourself, right? It's okay to get entertained, but make sure you're feeding yourself also things that is going to elevate you, help you ascend, and definitely put you in energetic alignment so you can attract what and who you desire. Because isn't that what it's all about, maybe? Most of it is about, living the life that you desire to live.
And speaking of subscribing, I wanted to definitely touch on that, because we need to let the people know where they can find us. So basically, you can find us on Universe Podcast 7 on YouTube. You can find us on Spotify at U.N.I Verse. Yeah, we should to be honest, you can find us on every platform as far as podcasts go. But definitely, we have a Facebook group called Universe Podcast in discussions, where I would definitely send some invites out, and we're going to be having continued discussions in there. Basically, if you let's say we have an episode about X, Y, and Z, we can continue that discussion after the show is aired or uploaded to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or what have you, and continue that discussion within the group. You know what I mean? So, and of course, any events, any special guests, we're going to be announcing those things too. So basically, follow us on all things. Well, I know you can follow me say this. You can follow her on All Things Self Mastery. But I was going to say All Things Universe Podcast. But yes, you could actually follow the Queen on All Things Self Mastery. And also I have another I have 2 other podcasts besides this one, and that's the Bleak Reality, where I get deeper to the metaphysics, and also Out the Frame, which is kind of like surface level conversation, and we talk about a lot about music, sports, what have you. But All Things Self Mastery.
Yeah, they be talking smack over there. Big smack.
We talk smack. Yeah, but that's more like fun though. As a matter of fact, I got a show coming up shortly.
We need a multitude, a variety of things.
Absolutely.
And unique. How we're multifaceted, right?
Absolutely.
So when you learn to operate and live within your divine truth and your authenticity, when you talk about liberation and freedom, baby, what they say, God no higher. Like, you don't get no higher than that.
Yeah.
When you start operating in that. And so, yeah, just like my brother said, you can find my YouTube channel outside of this, All Things Self Mastery. But we're going to be, you're going to find common threads that we're going to be feeding through all of the platforms.
Yeah, for sure.
Whether we're doing it separately or collectively. But make sure, right, because you play a part, family, too, in helping not only us expand, right? But we do have a responsibility to help in the collective expand and the realm that we're living in. Remember, this earth is alive. You have a responsibility to it. Not to get real deep. And so supporting individuals, supporting platforms, right? Even if it's just, hey, I'm just gonna support, that helps us to expand. A simple thing like just following, hitting that subscribe button, just typing a text or 2, sending a couple of hearts or a like. All of that is feeding a positive collective energy, and it does not require great effort. And so let's get in the habit of being intentional about feeding more positive energy. And you can start by hitting that subscribe button and waiting for that ting-a-ling-a-ling. We come
and trust me, you want to subscribe, because when I tell you we're going to be bringing dynamic information from this day forth, you're not going to want to miss it. And if you do, you're going to be mad that you did, because all you're going to do is hear somebody else talking about it and say, you know what, I've been heard I should subscribe to them a long time ago.
Some perks for you. It's going to be some upcoming perks and some exclusivities for you, okay? There will definitely be some you get it first over here, because you support it.
There you go.
And
listen, and with that being said, we want to thank everybody for tuning in. And just look, don't forget to subscribe, because we're going to be bringing the heat. And of course, Venus, I thank you, Queen, for real, because when I said I wanted to do this, you did not hesitate. And you not only, said, look, let's do it. You said, look, this is how we're going to do it. And this is how I see it. And I was like, you know what? I knew you was the perfect partner for doing this. And I said, you know what? Because now I know also I don't got to put all the weight. The Queen hold her own. Trust me when I say that. She hold her own, throwing the blows.
we stand on big business over here. Okay? We stand on big goddess energy over here. Okay, ain't nothing little over here. Big goddess energy.
Matter of fact, because you said that, you just reminded me to let people know
our time is almost, we respect the people's time, okay?
Yeah.
That's just a little segue into catch you later.
Catch you later.
Big goddess energy over here.
Yes.
Okay, big G.
Girl, you crazy. But now, real quick, I'm gonna just the last word. Because she reminded me, we do we're not only just partners on this podcast, we're partners on a media company, and we're going to be bringing more about that. So BGE, Big God Energy Media, which
Big Goddess Energy Media. But
there you go.
Just a little.
It's going to be it's going to be a lot. Like,
you're gonna benefit from it in the future. Okay, just saying that we can't give up everything. Okay, we respect your time and your energy over here. Okay, truth to the power to the people. Okay,
that's right. Universe Podcast. This is your boy Blek. That's the Queen Venus, a goddess. And guess what? We out till the next show. Right.
Peace, divine, and infinite love and enlightenment to you all.